Chester. Here's El Senior. Yes! Yes!
The center back, Jacob Glesnes, is going for it. Oh, what a goal! What a goal!
And that will do it. One of the best comebacks in recent years. 3 unanswered by the Union. And they go into the Gold Cup break, winning it 3-2.
Hello and welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. And 2 more days? Because odds are you guys are listening to this one Friday, probably a Friday morning, and you guys are probably working on a Friday, just counting down the days until you're off on the weekend. And then before we know it, it is going to be Sunday. The Philadelphia Union, which I don't know if you guys believed or not that they had a chance to host the final with that New York City and New England game. Or maybe you were like, yeah, I know New England's going to choke. And, did they choke? And we'll get into the New England-New York City game. I was saving on to a stat for this very moment. I looked this up, I feel like, 2 months ago. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to save this because we all know New England's going to win the Supporters' Shield. But I'm curious, like, what are the odds? How often have teams won the Supporters' Shield and the MLS Cup in the same year? So I did some digging into that 2 months ago, and this is a perfect time to go over that stat. But before we get into all that, talk about the Philadelphia Union New York City game, I felt like, this is 4th time being on the podcast. Too bad it's not in a row. It definitely would have been a new record. I don't think anybody would have topped that. But I felt like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And he's just a joy to speak with. And he is. You guys know him. You love him. You've heard him the last 3 out of 4 podcasts. He is. Sons of Ben Capo, Mr. Jarrett Nisly. And Jarrett, man, I know how you are. But I'll ask anyway. How are you, man?
Better than I was yesterday. I'm ready for Sunday so I can watch the boys in blue from afar. We don't need to talk about it too much because I'd rather just talk about the upcoming game and, get everyone in the right mindset. And I will just apologize to everyone. If you hear me go silent, it's because I muted myself because I probably went into a coughing fit.
And if you guys want to follow what's going on, just follow Jared on Twitter at NiceDog, right? It's just NiceDog, I think. So, you can get all your updates on Twitter. And if you don't have Twitter, well, there you go. Download Twitter, make an account, and you're all set. But, like I talked about, let's just go ahead and talk about New England, New York City. And I don't know about you, Jared, but I am thoroughly enjoying the playoffs this year. And we've seen 3 games go into penalty kicks so far. Our game, the game between New England and New York City, and then I almost said Portland. And then it was Real Salt Lake and Seattle. And all the penalty shootouts were very, very exciting. And the penalty shootout between New York City and New England, like I personally felt more nervous watching that than I was watching our penalty kicks in that stadium because it's like, man, New York City takes the lead 2-1 in extra time. And I was texting Ed Fagan and Ricky Zelfer, and I was like, I wouldn't bet against Tati Castellanos not getting a red card. He scores the goal in the second half of extra time. And then, don't you know, 3-4 minutes later, he gets the second yellow card, gets sent off. And I'm like, this is going great. Now, if they can hold on for 6 minutes and then here's Tejan Buchanan scoring a goal, you're like, oh my God, like all the momentum is now with New England. This is for sure going to go into penalty kicks. And you feel like they're playing in New England. All the momentum with them just scoring, they're winning this thing. And sure enough, league goalkeeper of the year, Matt Turner, doesn't make a single save in the penalty shootout, which, I feel like penalty shootout's always 50-50, and I know a lot of fans are ragging on him and New England on social media, which, rag all you want and everything, and I'm sure you and I probably talked about it sometime. Andre Blake should have won goalkeeper of the year this year. Matt Turner should have won it last year because his stats last year were better than Andre Blake, but we won the Supporters' Shield, so I felt like they gave it to Andre because of that. This year, New England won, so they gave it to Matt Turner this year. And, you look and see the best goalkeeper in MLS is in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a shot at MLS Cup over winning a player award any day. But yeah, I would say that New England NYCFC game could not have gone any better. I felt like the game was very open. There was a lot of running. Again, I don't understand that, like, coaches have been making very late playoff subs. I think it was again around the 70th minute that the coaches made a sub, and I was like, I don't understand why you're doing this, but I don't care because it means you're running your starters hard. But yeah, it went into overtime, which meant extra minutes. As you said, Castellanos, he got the go-ahead goal and then a red card, which is exactly what we wanted. Like the game could have not gone to PKs, and that would have been great because NYCFC won and Castellanos got a red card. I was like, so we get the opponent that gives us home field advantage, and the best player at MLS got a red card. Like, you can't ask for much better than that. No, I definitely agree with what you said earlier. Like, I was incredibly nervous watching that PK shootout. Just knowing how much rode on that game. Like, are guys going to have to travel up to Foxborough and play? Or are we going to get another home game? And so I just think, like, the uncertainty, just like it was all there. Like, you couldn't not feel it. But no, NYCFC took care of business, and now all they've been doing is complaining.
Yeah. We can definitely talk about that here in a second because that is hysterical what is going on. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's a whole bunch of New York City fans complaining on Twitter, and maybe it's other places on social media too, where people are complaining about how the Philadelphia Union apparently only gave NYCFC 200 tickets. But like I said, we'll get into that for the reasoning behind that here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I thought, like you said, I mean, it was a very, very open game, and especially in the second half, it was all New York City in the second half. Like, they had chance after chance, and they looked like the Philadelphia Union there a little bit. They couldn't finish their chances. It's like they created so many chances. Tati Castellanos had a great chance. He takes a touch instead of shooting the ball, which I think was probably the right play. I know the commentators were like, oh, he should have one-timed that. Like, he had the chance. Tavon Gray, who was excellent, the right back for New York City. Other than, he was a little bit selfish there near the end of the game where he could have laid the ball off. He had two guys wide open on the six, it seemed like. And instead, he goes for the shot himself, takes a bad first touch, which then puts him in an even worse position to shoot the ball. And, the ball goes sailing over the top. But, I mean, that was pretty funny because you look at Tati Castellanos, 19 goals this season, leading goal scorer in MLS. Usually when he gets a touch inside that penalty box, he's putting the ball in the back of the net. And that's something that we complain about all the time for our strikers. They don't shoot the ball, and they miss so many chances, and that's exactly what we saw with New York City in the second half. They missed so many chances. And then on top of that, which we'll get into later on, James Sands, the first guy that you were talking about, getting substituted because both teams waited forever to make a sub, and it took New York City to get a player injured for them to make the first substitution. And in my opinion, that was the best midfielder. He came out, and there's no update still on him, whether or not he'll be able to play or not. But, whether or not it was precautionary, maybe it was, but it looked pretty serious when they subbed him off. And then later on the second half of extra time, Tavon Gray, the right back from New York City, pulls his hamstring. And by the way, New York City doesn't have a right back on the roster. That was the last right back because when we played New York City in Yankee Stadium, James Sands played in the right back position. Well, he might not play. Tavon Gray, who's a natural right back, hamstring injuries are pretty serious. If he can't go, what does New York City do? And we'll talk about all the roster problems that New York City has and everything. But like you said, nothing could have went better for the Philadelphia Union. Extra legs on the starters. Both players were just exhausted on each team. And to get a red card for Tati, yeah, that was excellent. But like I said, I looked up stats. And I have a question for you, Jared. Should the Supporters' Shield winners play sooner than 16 days and then 23 days? The 16 days rest was for the Philadelphia Union last season before we played New England. And then 23 days rest New England had this season before they played New York City. And so I was looking at this. 5 Supporters' Shield winners have been knocked out in the conference semifinals, including the New England Revolution. 4 Supporters' Shield winners were knocked out at the conference finals, and only one team won MLS Cup / the Supporters' Shield in 2017, and that was Toronto FC against Seattle Sounders. So yeah, that's my question to you. Do you think that the Supporters' Shield winners should play a lot sooner than what we saw last year with the Union and this year with New England?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the second year in a row that we've seen rest over rust, or rest versus rust. And both times, like, Rust lost. And like, yeah, like that extra rest is great, and you don't have to play. It's one less game you have to play, but like the past 2 years, the Supporter Shield winners have gone out in their first match, and like I don't know how you fix it because like it also doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like there should be some reward for being. Well, it's not even just like the Supporter Shield. It's whoever finishes first in the conference. There should be some kind of reward. Maybe here's a thought. Maybe the top seed gets to choose who they want to play out of the bottom 3 opponents, instead of getting rest, because obviously that rest doesn't do anything. But I don't know. That's just a thought. But yeah, something definitely needs to change because it's not a great look. Like there's absolutely no reason why New England shouldn't have made a deep run. Like they have, like, I'm not going to deny it. They have the talent. They don't have the best goalkeeper in the league, but they have a lot of talent on this team. So it's a bit unfair to their fan base and their players. I mean, I'll take it because it benefits us, but like, I mean, we can speak from experience last year. Like it was gut wrenching to lose that game in that fashion.
Yeah, exactly. And credit to all the New England supporters because on the broadcast, I mean, it sounded like they created a fantastic environment. So, those fans were pushing on the players as much as they could. And we saw it last year with the Philadelphia Union. We complained about it when we lost. And yeah, people want to say we're sore losers. And yeah, you can say whatever you want and everything. But there was definitely something to it. And now New England fans are complaining about it. And they're like, oh, wow, look, we see what the Philadelphia Union were going through last year. And you're right. The Supporters Shield winners definitely should be rewarded. But the one way I was thinking is I wouldn't mind to see the bracket be looked at as the 1 seed plays the 8, and you don't just play one side of the bracket. Like, okay, wherever you get drawn into, that's the side you play. It doesn't matter the seeding and everything. It should just be, okay, the higher seeding plays at home, and the lower seed obviously goes on the road, and you just play the seeds and everything. But I don't know if MLS wants to do something like that, but yeah, this is definitely something that MLS should look at, and maybe they will with New England setting all sorts of records this year because you're right, they have very, very talented players. Definitely should have been in the conference finals, I feel like, with the talent on that roster, but Russ prevailed, and I think especially going behind early at home, which I think they equalized like 4 minutes afterwards, so that didn't really matter. But yeah, you could tell as the game went on, especially in the second half, New England, they were just very, very disorganized in the midfield. They were very disorganized with Farrell and Henry Kessler, which I'm so happy that Henry Kessler got knocked out after he did all that crap in Subaru Park, kicking the ball in the fans and just mocking the Sons of Ben and everything. So I was happy to see him go out and everything. But look, I do feel a little bit for New England because we went through the same thing last year. Now, granted, we had 16 days off. New England had 23, so that's even more days. But regardless, that's way too long for teams not to be playing. And I know Bruce Arena said, yeah, we were scrimmaging teams as much as we could. I believe the Philadelphia Union tried to get in some scrimmages last year. I believe they scrimmaged U2. Now, granted, scrimmaging U2 and trying to have them replicate an MLS team is probably not going to make that much of a difference. But still, I mean, something needs to be done. And, I'm just happy we're in the final of the Eastern Conference and the game's at Subaru Park because that place, it's going to be electric. But just any more thoughts you want to add on the bracket seating, too many days off, the New England, New York City game, Jarrett?
Nah, I'd rather talk about my boys in blue. Like, let's get to the good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, the Philadelphia Union, New York City played 3 times this season, with 2 of those games coming at Subaru Park and 1 in Yankee Stadium. Those games ended 2-0 to New York City at Subaru Park. Jose Martinez got an early red card in that game, and no surprise that the Union lost that game. 1-0 to the Union on a Wednesday, I believe, back in August, I want to say, and then 1-1 on decision day in Yankee Stadium, which is, the Philadelphia Union could have won that game since New York got an early red card in the first half, but we didn't, and we'll take the point in Yankee Stadium because how many times have we said, we go into Yankee Stadium and can get a point because more times than not, we lose in Yankee Stadium. So, yeah, I guess all in all, that point's pretty good. But I guess if Portland beats Real Salt Lake, then it's like, man, those 3 points, if we would have got them in New York City, that could have went such a long way for us hosting MLS Cup. But, let's not even talk about that, Talk about the game that is this Sunday. And I think this game is definitely going to be interesting because the last time we played New York City at home, we played the 4-4-2 Diamond, and we won that game 1-0 because Ali Bedoria's goal because of Kai Wagner's cross. And playing the Christmas tree formation against New York City, I feel like is a little bit hard for us to judge because when we played the Christmas tree formation, we played that in Yankee Stadium, and that definitely played to our strengths because you're looking at a lot of quick passing, you're looking at a lot of through balls, and playing on a small baseball stadium, you get a lot of those looks, and so it's kind of hard to judge. Okay, well, how effective is the Christmas tree going to be against New York City? But look, I think we should probably stay with the Christmas tree. I don't know about you. It's the hot hand right now for us, and just because we haven't seen what the Christmas tree looks like against New York City at home doesn't mean that, okay, let's switch back to the 4-4-2. I would gladly stay with the Christmas tree formation because it's working, and I think you need to have Leon Flock in that formation. You need to have Daniel Gazdag. You need to have Jamiro Montero. How do you get all three of these guys in the formation? You play the Christmas tree formation. And so I know some people on social media say that, oh, man, let's just go back to the diamond. No, I mean, the Christmas tree works, and it opens up so much space for our 2 number 10s. And I know Jamiro hasn't got a goal yet. Daniel Gazdag got the game-tying goal against Nashville. I feel like we could have so many goals in the playoffs if our strikers would put away the chances. Like, we're creating so many chances with our 2 10s. Ali Bedoya created a couple chances against Nashville. It's like we're creating so many chances, more chances, I feel like, with the Christmas tree formation than we were with the 4-4-2 diamond. Because the talk in August and September was we're not creating enough chances. And Jim Curtin talked about that in his press conference. And ever since he talked about that, we switched to the Christmas tree. And look, so many chances we're creating. It's just our strikers can't put the ball in the back of the net. But Christmas tree, 4-4-2 diamond, your thoughts, Jarrett?
I mean, like you said, don't fix what ain't broke. Like, stick with the Christmas tree. Again, like I've said the past 3 episodes, like Sergio Santos as that senior role has done really well for us. Like, we've looked really good in the second half of games once he's come onto the field. Has he produced? No, but again, he's getting those chances. But yeah, I think, and even like, I think formation aside, like the difference in the game, as I've always said, is going to be the fans. But yeah, I like what we've been doing with the Christmas tree. I think we've got 1.5 informed 10s right now, and I think that the confidence in this group is growing. They can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I truly think that this is the formation that can get us there.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you've got to have Leon Flock in this formation with his pressing alone. Yeah, we know he doesn't give anything offensively, but who else is pressing as much as Leon Flock? Who's putting in a shift defensively like Leon Flock? You saw against Nashville. As soon as Leon Flock came out, then Nashville started getting a lot of chances on would be their right side of the field or left side of the field. They were getting a lot of chances, and you were just holding your breath that players could defend one-on-one, which we all know the Philadelphia Union held their own. But it was a lot shaky when Leon Flock came off compared to when Leon Flock was on the field. So, I don't care what people are saying about Leon Flock at this time. You need Leon Flock out there. You need Jamiro Montero out there. You need Daniel Gazdag out there. And I know you could play the 4-4-2 diamond, try to put Daniel Gazdag up top, but Daniel Gazdag is so much better at the 10 than he is as a striker. We've seen the Daniel Gazdag experiment as a striker couple times this season. It doesn't work out. It's not worth it. Yeah, in a pinch, if you need a striker up there, then you can throw him up there. He's better at the 10. Sergio Santos, you're right. And you said that when you came on the podcast that he would make a difference coming off the bench, and he's not scoring. But here's the difference between Sergio and Casper. Sergio is actually putting shots on target. Casper can't put anything on target. And yeah, you feel like Sergio should be putting the ball in the back of the net, which he definitely should. But at least he has an eye for goal. Casper, doesn't matter how many touches he takes, he's blasting the ball over the net, and he's getting frustrated with himself. And when he gets frustrated with himself, then it takes him out of the game for the rest of the time. So Sergio Santos, a lone striker in the Christmas tree formation, I don't think it works out because Sergio Santos is definitely a second striker. And there is somebody, for the fans that say, okay, maybe take Casper out. He's not good. I would personally still leave Casper in there just because he does work his butt off defensively. He's not the fastest. He's not putting the ball in the back of the net. I know the striker's job is to put the ball in the back of the net. Could look at Corey Burke because Corey Burke has 3 goals in 6 games against New York City. Casper, he has 2 goals in 5 games against New York City. But the thing with Corey Burke is he's played 72 out of 420 total minutes in his last 4 games for the Union. Neither 4 of those games were starts, obviously, with only 72 minutes. But remember, Corey Burke was dealing with a high ankle sprain. Back in September, I think he suffered it. And he was out for quite some time, and the team was working back his fitness. But I've got to imagine that probably now Corey is healthy enough to start. But hearing those stats, 3 goals in 6 games for Corey against New York City, 2 goals in 5 games for Casper against New York City. Would you mess with the formation, the lineup that you put out the last couple weeks, and put Corey as the lone striker in the Christmas tree, or would you stick with Casper?
Like, as much as I don't like to say it, like, I wouldn't mess with it. Like, this is playoffs. Like, this is not the time to be trying to mess with the formation or like even who's on the field. Like, we had to do it with Miro and like we had to do it there. But like, striker is not a place where you want to be messing with it. He's a great bench option. He did get a few good chances against Nashville. Like, our strikers look dangerous in the attack. They're just missing that last little bit. But again, like, I haven't lost faith in Casper yet. Like, no, he's not putting the ball in the back of the net, but I view a lot of it as what he's doing, not necessarily off the ball, but just like he's setting others up for success because he draws attention. So like, if he's drawing attention, that leaves somebody else available, and that to me is useful. Again, yes, I understand that your striker has to put the ball in the net, but like, he's still useful for something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's pressing off the ball. He's dropping a little bit too deep for my liking, but because of that, you're seeing especially Daniel Gazdag get in behind, and he's getting touches inside the 18 where you want Daniel Gazdag to touch the ball. That's where Daniel Gazdag is most dangerous, inside the 18. But at the same time, too, you definitely want your striker putting the ball in the back of the net. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think I would mess with it. And I know Jim Curtin talks about analytics and everything. And look, maybe Corey Burke comes off the bench if we're down a goal and gets another goal against New York City, or maybe we're up 1-0. I know you said, I think the first time I had you on the podcast when we started doing this, and now it's became a thing because, it's not broken. I think you said just go for it. If we're up 1 goal, teams try to get defensive. Bring on another offensive player. Put another goal up them on a team, because when a team goes from behind, they're going to be pushing men forward, and that's your perfect chance to hit a team on the counterattack. So yeah, maybe Corey Burke comes off the bench, gets the Union up by 2 goals. Maybe they're already up by 2 goals. Now they're up by 3 goals. But yeah, I would stick with Casper and not mess with that right now. But here is the interesting thing. I'll ask you 2 more things, and then we'll go just predictions. Well, maybe not predictions, because we haven't done that and things have been going our way. But we'll talk more about this game. So 2 things for you, Jarrett. Do you stay with Alvis Powell, or do you go back with Bizo now that he returned to training on Wednesday? I believe the team posted his picture back in training. We've seen Alvis Powell play very, very well defensively against New York Red Bulls and against Nashville, but offensively, he's not the greatest player offensively. And the Union, you can definitely look, especially looking at his heat map, when even watching him in person, he's not pushing forward that often. Like, the highest he'll push forward is to the halfway line, and then he won't really push past that. And the Union are sending in crosses with Jose Martinez, with Ali Bedoya, and every now and then Powell will go in and send a cross, but it's not often. But Bizo, we know he loves going forward. He loves sending in crosses. So For me, that's a difficult one. Do you stay defensively with Alvis Powell, or do you go with offense? And Bizo is a good defender too, but there has been times where he's had some laps and teams have capitalized on it. And you look at it, Bizo hasn't played the last two games. So do you throw a right back in there that hasn't played the last two games, that just returned to training with his team, or do you stick with Alvis Powell, who's offensively challenged?
So I would say Powell for two reasons. One, because he wasn't out with COVID and he's still in shape and has been in training. And secondly, I think we need that kind of defensive mindset with a team like NYCFC. City is very dangerous on the counter, and we cannot be left vulnerable to their counterattacks and their fast play out of the midfield. And I think that having Mbizo on the field could potentially leave us open to attack. So I think having Powell, who, like you said, tends to stay back, would be very beneficial. Obviously, we love the play that Mbizo brings to the attack, but I don't know. Something just tells me Powell for this game.
Yeah, it's something I keep going back and forth on. I'm like, man, if you play Bizo playing for 45 to 50 minutes, and then if you're definitely up a goal, then switch to Alvis Powell and just park the bus, go defensive and sub him on. But at the same time, too, Bizo hasn't trained, and what's his fitness level like? And Jim Curtin's got all of his substitutions right. I feel like this playoffs, he's got all his starting lineups right so far the playoffs. So why really mess with anything? But the last question I'll throw at you is, so we've been talking about players needing to step up. We saw Jacob Glesnes step up, score the game-winning goal against the Red Bulls. We saw Daniel Gazdag step up and score the game-tying goal. Andre Blake might have had his best performance ever for the Philadelphia Union against Nashville. He stepped up. But let's not count anybody that's been in the starting 11 the last two games against New York Red Bulls and Nashville. Let's say the Philadelphia Union are behind on a goal. Do you trust anybody that has been on the bench to step up and make a difference?
McGlenn, baby, ice in the veins. I don't know. There's just something about him being on the field. His vision is unreal. Like, he sees things that a lot of players don't. Now, I wouldn't pick McGlenn to score a goal.
Yeah.
But I think that he would be able to have a really nice assist, or at least, play a big role in the build-up to a goal. I mean, you saw against Nashville, like, the kid's, 17? And he's doing that? Like, that is unreal. The balls on this kid, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much of any playing time he'll get, but I think he's definitely someone who could play an important.
And yeah, I definitely agree with you, and I think that's something to keep an eye on. We've seen the Philadelphia Union go behind once, and they came back and tied the game up with Daniel Gazdag. But let's say the Philadelphia Union go behind in the second half, and that's when Jim's going to make a lot of substitutions, and you're going to have to rely on somebody on your bench to make a difference. But let's go ahead and look at players that are missing or potentially going to miss this game for New York City. We already know that Tati Castellanos is going to miss the game because he got 2 yellow cards, which led to the red. James Sands,
he got fined as well.
Yeah, I saw, right? For not leaving the field fast enough. So, man, tough day for him, right?
Yeah.
But James Sands, for substitution, they probably didn't want to sub him out because he's the best midfielder, and they sub him out. And then Tavon Gray pulls his hamstring in the second half of extra time. The only other right back on this roster because Tenenholm tore his ACL a couple months ago, so they were going with Tavon Gray to step up, which, watching how we played against New England, I think this guy has a bright future, and I know he's eligible to play for the USA. I know he's eligible to play for Jamaica, and I believe England as well. I feel like the USA has a lot of options at right back, so it'll be interesting to see if Tavon Gray continues to produce for New York City. One, he'll definitely get a move abroad, I feel like. But two, who will he play for internationally? Internationally. We've seen him play for the U17s multiple times, but other than that, he hasn't got called up for anything that the USA youth teams are doing. But if they don't have a right back to go, it's going to be very, very, very interesting. And you look, Ronnie Dyla decided to start, like I said, James Sands at right back, and Tavon Gray was on the bench, but they decided not to go with him until they were kind of forced to go with him. And then they went with Alfredo Morales and then Gideon Zalalem as the two holding midfielders. And I've got to imagine Ronnie Dyla doesn't trust Gideon after the red card that he got against the Philadelphia Union on decision day. Nicholas Acevedo has been out for a while with a lower body injury, even though he wasn't listed on the injury report versus New England. Tony Rucha has only played 5 games this year for New York City. He came in versus New England when James Sands went off injured. They've got a real issue in the midfield. Tavon Gray, like I said, looked to pull his hamstring late in the second half. They don't have any other right back on this roster right now. That's a huge question mark now for New York City if, in fact, Tavon cannot go. And then you had in Castellanos getting suspended. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I mean, this couldn't have went any better for the Philadelphia Union. And I looked it up. Tati Castellanos, he's missed 2 games this season for New York City. The first game was a 3-3 draw versus FC Dallas in Yankee Stadium, which Tylis Magno got to start in that game, which he did wind up scoring in that game. But, he hasn't been consistent in starting. And then the second game was a 2-0 loss away to Chicago, in which Magno got to start again. And, to lose 2-0 to Chicago Fire, who were terrible this season, it's not a great look. So, New York City have proved that they can't get a win without Tati Castellanos in that lineup. Now, granted, it's only 2 games to judge off of, but him missing from this lineup is extremely worrisome for New York City. And Erber, he's coming off a torn ACL injury that he suffered last year, and the most minutes that he played in a game this season was 32 minutes versus DC United. And now you're like, okay, do you go with your high money signing in Magno? I mean, it's what you paid him for, right? But he hasn't found the back of the net. He's not in great form. He's still adjusting to the league. Ismail Shirati is a winger, and I know I saw some fans saying, well, you can just put him up top, but he's not a striker. He's a winger. So, I mean, in the back line, in the midfield, and the attackers, New York City have a lot of issues, and it makes me feel good going into this game, seeing that they could be without 3 key pieces, and I just hope that the players, don't walk into this thing thinking, oh, there's a walk in the park because of that. No, New York City's definitely going to show up and still make this a tough game for the Philadelphia Union. If anything, it's going to give them extra motivation to try even harder if they're without all 3 of those players.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a tough matchup for sure. But the stars are literally lining up for us to happen. Like, I don't know. I think Michael Borton pointed out. But on the 10th, the stars are literally aligning. There are planets literally aligning. So like, if that doesn't say like things are going in our favor, I don't know what does. But we're not like, it's all superstition. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. But like this, it's playoffs. You can't overlook anybody. Like they're dangerous no matter who they have on the field. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a really fun environment. It's gonna be a loud, raucous environment. Like I'm pretty sure we broke the attendance record. Like there's no way we didn't. I mean the game sold out in less than 12 hours.
It's ridiculous.
But I know. I did ticket watch barely even happened. I didn't even get to do my job. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see who they put out in the field. Like, do they go a 3-back so they don't have to put an experienced person at right back? And even if they do that, like, are they a team that is built for that? Have they practiced for that? So like, it'd be very interesting to see what happens as far as the lineup.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad you actually brought up the whole ticket watch thing because that's something that I said in the beginning. We're talking about New York City fans complaining about the tickets, but oh my goodness, like if you want entertainment, just look at all the New York City fans complaining on social media. Apparently, New York City was only given 200 tickets to the game, and I don't blame the Philadelphia Union. I think Portland only gave Real Salt Lake fans 500 tickets, but look, I mean, it's a stadium that seats 18,500. One, why would the Philadelphia Union want to give massive amounts of tickets to away fans? We earned the right to host this game at home, to have home field advantage. What's the point of giving New York City? I know I saw Ian Paul say, "Oh yeah, give us 2,000 tickets." Why would the Philadelphia Union ever give 2,000 tickets to New York City fans to make them have now an advantage with 2,000 fans? Why would they do that? Like, if you guys want to have your fans in the stadium, then you should have finished above the Philadelphia Union in the standings. But number two, okay, maybe the Philadelphia Union would have given you guys 500 tickets like they gave the New York Red Bulls. But, oh, that's right. You guys don't know how to act because every time you guys come to Subaru Park or every time you go to away cities, Orlando City, you guys ripped out seats at Orlando City and through the seats. You guys have fought multiple times at Subaru Park. What was it? A couple years ago, you guys fought your own supporters in our stadium and heading into the stadium. Like, and you guys question, oh, why did we only get allocated 200 tickets? You guys don't know how to act, so blame yourselves. Don't blame the Philadelphia Union for doing this to you guys. I wish the Philadelphia Union would have said, yeah, actually, here's 50 tickets. Not 200. Here's 50 tickets. Like, you guys don't know how to act. And then you see on social media, you see New York City fans that said, yeah, we're going to sneak into the supporters section. We're going to cause issues and everything. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that New York City fans have every attention, I feel like, here to start crap. Because that's the reputation New York City fans have. You know, the people that I've talked to with New York City are Robert Abramowitz and Glenn Crooks, the commentators. Great guys I talked to, just learning, you know, what it takes to call games, to, you know, cover teams. You know, having those guys come onto the podcast, share some insights into that stuff. I'm very, very grateful. Talking to those guys, very, very, very nice guys. But fans, forget about it. Like, I feel like, you know, I want to say 80% of the fans. It's probably not that, but there's more than enough fans that have given New York City fans a bad name where it's like, okay, it's definitely more than 50 fans, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, actions have consequences. Like, you can't just act a certain way and then expect nothing to happen. It is absolutely outrageous to request 2,000 tickets in a stadium that only seats 18,000. Like, there's no way. Like, that's several sections worth. There's no way we're going to give you that much ground. We earned the right to host this game. Like, all you had to do was beat us at your own piece of crap baseball stadium on decision day. And you couldn't do that. And because you didn't, we got second place. So now you got to live with that. Like, you are at our mercy. You get however many tickets we decide to give to you.
Yeah.
And guess what? Our fans bought the rest of the tickets. So you're not getting in. And the only way you're getting in is if you pay an absorbent amount of money. And even then, we don't want you here. Because you're just going to come in and stir up crap. Like, there were like freaking check marks out here telling people that, like, oh, we're going to bring the smoke. Like, oh, we're out here causing problems. Like, we're coming. It's like, no, shut up. This is soccer. This is not Fight Club.
You're not Millwall.
Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, maybe I'd feel the same way if the game was at no, I wouldn't feel the same way because we could get however many people we wanted at Yankee Stadium because they can't sell it out. So you're just jealous because you can't sell your stadium out. Like, you got empty seats everywhere. You got people going to a game being like, I thought it was at a Yankee game. I don't know what's going on here. But they don't know. They think they're watching Aaron Judge. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. That look, we could spend the next 30 minutes complaining about how they joined the league in 2015 and they're still playing in Yankee Stadium, how somehow they still don't have a soccer specific stadium, how that's part of the reason why they were told, okay, yeah, you guys can join MLS because that would be awesome to have a soccer stadium in New York City. You guys said you can get a soccer stadium in New York City? That's cool. Come join the league. And we are I almost said 6. Yeah, 6 years. 6 years you guys still don't have a soccer stadium in New York City, which I get it. It's hard, but the fact that the fact that MLS still allows us to go on, and I really don't want to go down this path, so I'm going to stop myself because it's just going to make me angry that they still play. Yeah, we're not going to talk about this. We're not going to talk about this because now I want to get into the point where I saw a comment. Somebody said, "Oh, this is unfair. This is unfair." You want to talk about unfair? Playing in the baseball. Oh, man. Nope. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. So that's, you guys got the tickets that you were allocated, and you guys don't know how to act. So, like you said, Jarrett, you face the consequences now, New York City fans.
You done messed up. All you had to do was win, and you messed up.
Yeah, it's literally all they had to do. They just had to win. The place where they are so used to getting wins. Oh, man, I don't want to talk about the stadium anymore. Why not? That's just going to make me mad. Oh, man, it's like, yeah, suck it up. And so I hope the Philadelphia Union put 4, 5, 6, 7 goals on New York City just to really piss off their fans. That would be great. I don't think that's going to happen at all. But, yeah, that would be awesome to see the Philadelphia Union put so many goals past these guys and really piss them off. But just some New York City stats for you guys. Leading goal scorers, Tati Castellanos, 19 goals in 32 games. He has 8 assists, missing the game, obviously. Jesus Medina, 9 goals in 33 games, 2 assists. Ishamil Shirati, 7 goals in 23 games, 0 assists. And just some miscellaneous stats. Maxi Morales, who is the one player I'm still worried about for New York City. He has so many assists against us. He had 11 assists this season in MLS, which was 4th most in the league. He was 2nd in MLS in completed passes in the 18-yard box with 77. He was 5th in MLS this season in key passes with 83. He's still such a creative player. And just because Tati's not there for him to feed the ball into doesn't mean that, oh, well, Maxi Morales isn't going to create chances. No, that's just the type of player that Maxi Morales is. He's still going to create chances. Now, it might be a little bit easier for the Philadelphia Union to shut him down because they have a big question mark up top. But, I don't think this game is going to be as easy as some fans are potentially thinking it's going to be because regardless, New York City, they were 2nd this season in MLS in shots per game with 15.06. They were 1st in MLS on shots on target per 90 minutes with 5.32. And then they were the 6th most pressured team in MLS, while that ranked them 7th in turnovers while they were pressed. So, the Philadelphia Union have to come into this game and press against New York City. I don't expect them to get 15 shots in this game just because they don't have Tati there. But I do expect New York City to create chances, and I don't have any reason to believe that the Philadelphia Union won't think, yeah, this is already a win, we're going to be in the cup. I don't have any reason to think that the Philadelphia Union players are thinking that. I don't think Jim Curtin would allow that. But for fans that are listening to this podcast that expect the Philadelphia Union just to roll right over New York City, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, again, a hard-fought game. Playoffs are never easy. There's a reason that you don't typically see, outrageous score lines or games with, a big goal margin. And that's what makes playoffs so exciting. They're exciting games. Yeah, I hope it doesn't go into extra time again because I can't be there, but I don't know if I could handle another overtime game. It's just so stressful, and I really prefer not to do that again. But no, all eyes. I don't even want the team to watch the Real Salt Lake Portland game. Don't even be concerned about it. Just focus on your game. Fans, you can watch that game. That's great. But this team, they probably will watch it. But it's just the MLS Cup cannot be on their minds because if it is on their minds, they're going to overlook City, and it's going to be bad. We need need to put their blinders on and be solely focused on this game. Once you get through Sunday, then you can look at the scoreboards and be like, oh, that's who won. That's where we're going if we win. Then you can worry about it. But no, it's it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a stereotypical playoff game. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It's gonna be a wild environment. I can't even begin to imagine. I'm super excited. I normally have to feel like I have to get people excited. I didn't have to do anything. You all you're just ready to go. I mean, I'm still gonna try and get you hyped up whenever I get a chance here, but you guys are all hyped. Good on you.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be the loudest game. And Carl Mandel said on Twitter that they don't have a decibel meter in the stadium to see how loud it's going to be, which is so disappointing because I feel like last game was probably the loudest it's ever been in Subaru Park after we won that penalty shootout. And then this game, I feel like it's definitely going to be the loudest it's ever been, especially before the game even kicks off. Their environment. And then the march-in against Nashville was awesome. And now, I feel like there's definitely going to be a march-in. I haven't seen anybody talk about it, so there is. So there we go. And I believe your buddy Nick Johnson's coming back out to do the tailgate for the Sons of Ben, which did a great job last time. And that tailgate for the Sons of Ben, it was a lot of people the last two tailgates they did, but this might be an all-time record now.
I think the lot is going to be very full. I'm extremely excited for everyone who gets to go. And if you haven't bought tickets yet, why have you not bought tickets yet? It's going to be a ton of fun, and it's a great time. Go meet some new people, and yeah, it's going to be so much fun, guys. The environment, again, set the tone early. Get there. It's going to be an absolute wild time. It's going to be the biggest party of the season. You guys really don't understand, but it's going to be absolutely bananas, and I'm extremely excited for all of you who get to go.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great point you brought up, to set the tone. Set the tone before the game even starts, before you get into the stadium. Join the Sons of Men marching into the stadium, because look, I probably do expect more than 200 New York City fans to be there because, like you said, people are selling their tickets on StubHub, so people are going to buy those tickets, which I'm not okay with people selling the tickets on StubHub. I mean, I get people, it's ridiculous, 10 times the amount that people bought them for. You're making a huge profit. I get that and everything. But that profit, it's probably New York City fans buying that. But, can you imagine if we had, 1,000 people marching in to the stadium? You know how intimidating that would be for New York City fans? And I feel like the last couple times we marched in, people have seen us marching into the stadium, and then people are like, this looks cool, and then they join in. If we could get 1,000 people marching into the stadium, setting the atmosphere before the game even starts up, whew, that place is going to be rocking before the game even kicks off.
I want City fans to hear us from Lot A. And Lot A is a long ways away. But let me tell you, if we can get the right size march, it is going to be loud. I want them to be so terrified when they're walking up to the stadium. I want them to be able to hear us and just feel the ground move, because we're coming. Our fans have been waiting for a moment like this for a long, long time. The amount of pain this fan base has gone through, all to lead up to this moment. And just to be clear, this is not the final stepping stone. This is not where we win and that's it. No. We got higher standards. We continue to build on this. We take care of business here, we move on to the next. And we're not even done there. We take care of business there, and then we start looking at CCL the next year.
Yep.
Again, it's one step at a time, but each step is not the end of the road. Regardless, I believe we've clinched a Leagues Cup.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, there you go. So that is another international competition. That is another place for us to grow the brand and to continue to get the name of Philadelphia out there. But it is all dependent on all of you listening to this right now. Get yourself to the SOB lot, which is right across from the training field. You walk past it every game. You can't miss it unless you park in one of the if you park in lots, well, I guess just B. If you park in lot B, you can't miss it. But yeah, it's going to be great. You guys just need to get there. If you're walking up and you're walking in, or you're walking in with, like, feel free to join. Like, we're not scary people. You don't have to be a Sons of Ben member to be at the tailgate or march in. We're just trying to get everyone pumped up. And like, I look around and I see everyone taking videos of us getting hyped just like the rest of us. So it's just like, just join in. If we can collectively come together, this environment, man, it's going to be absolutely bananas. It's going to be insane. This is the single biggest game in Union history to date. And you all get to be a part of it. You guys get to set the atmosphere, set the tone, be the wind in the sails of this team. It's going to be unreal. Like, you guys got this. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for all of you, and I'm jealous.
Yeah, and I do. I told you I don't want to get sad on this podcast and everything. I super duper devastated that you don't get to go and everything, but I don't see why people can't carry your load, because it's a hard thing to do, to replicate the energy that you put out, Jarrett, in the river end. And nobody can beat Jarrett Nisly, right? But we can try. And yeah, I mean, if you set that tune, like you said, before the game even starts, the marching into the stadium, whew, the place is going to be rocking. Now, we talked about this, I feel like, a couple episodes ago, where in 2019, towards the end of the season, we were building something special, and then COVID hit in 2020, and we lost all of that momentum that we had. But the playoff game against New York Red Bull, the playoff game that we had against Nashville, the playoff game that we're going to have against New York City, like, we're building something special. And I know a playoff game is a lot different than an MLS game. People get a lot more excited for playoff games because, it's single elimination. And it's a lot more easier to get hyped up for that than an MLS game that people might say, oh, it doesn't matter. Which, in reality, all the games matter, in my opinion, because you don't want to pull in New York City and not get home field advantage in the playoffs. So, your games in MLS do matter. But if we can continue this momentum, getting fans excited, packing up Subaru Park, I really don't see why it should be an issue doing this for every single MLS game. Can you imagine the atmosphere for every single MLS game, regular season game at home, if we had the same passion from fans like we've had against New York Red Bulls against Nashville? If we had that same passion, that same energy, easily the best atmosphere in MLS. And you can argue, okay, yeah, we have the most passionate fans right now, or you can say, no, we don't. But seeing what we've been doing the last two games, seeing what we did against Club America, we're building something special. And I hope, regardless of what happens on Sunday, regardless of what players play on Sunday, people should be proud of what we've accomplished. People should take this momentum that we've established this season into next season. Now, granted, having a February 26th kickoff game for the home opener, yeah, it's really, really hard to get hyped for when it's probably going to be like negative degrees. I know it's not going to be that cold, but it's going to be a terrible time for a home opener. I just don't see why people can't get this hyped up for an MLS regular season game. Like, these environments are fun. Like, hearing the stadium erupt, feeling the stadium shake, like, that's fun. And then going back and seeing all these videos that people take of these kind of environments, like, don't you guys want this for every single game going forward? I know I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. And like, we're starting to gain traction. Like, I've seen a lot of other accounts on Twitter, like, starting to talk about Union. Like, there's an artist I follow who does like comic drawings for like Eagles or most of the other sports. I just haven't seen her do flyers, but she started talking about the Union. She talked about drawing the Union. I've seen NBC Sports Philadelphia put out an article about the Union. I've seen Crossing Broad, which, Kevin Kincaid's a part of it. I just haven't seen like as many, but they put out an article about the Union. Again, Crossing Broad, they do a good job of covering the Union. But yeah, like, we are set up very well. And like, I can't even imagine, like, if we were able to have the 2020 season that we were building off of 2019, like, where we'd be at now. But like, I think, like, from 2020 until now, what we've been able to do like given like all the circumstances, is incredible. We have set ourselves up really well, and we're getting a lot of people interested. Like I've seen a couple things where like someone said like my dad who's never like been to a Union game, never watched a soccer game, asked me if he can get a ticket to the Union game. Like that's the thing with Philadelphia sports. People are drawn to playoff winning teams. They're drawn to success. And this is a great time for the Union to cash in because all the other Philadelphia teams are garbage. Hot garbage. The only other team right now that is even worth anything is the Sixers, and that's a whole other like can of worms, and they're sitting at 11-11. So like this is a fantastic time for the Union to just jump in and just grab a bunch of attention. There's playoff banners hanging in Philly, like in Center City. So like the name's out there, and they've been up for since before the Red Bull game. So like the Union are getting eyes, and it's just a matter of finding a way to continue that success and continue to reach those people who are somewhat interested in getting them to come back. But yeah, we have the potential to do something really awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too. And we talked about last episode, creating history. We have a chance to watch history. Look, there is still more chances to write history. Whew, I know that environment's going to be special on Sunday, and I guess my worst fear is people arriving to the stadium late and not thinking about how packed, how early that stadium's going to get packed. So, yeah, I mean, leave early to get to the stadium because you don't want to be stuck in traffic and miss the kickoff because they're not going to wait for kickoff until you get to your seat. No, they're going to start when they start. So whether or not you're in your seat, so don't leave when you think, okay, this is an okay time to leave. Leave an hour, 2 hours before you think you need to leave because that place is going to pack up fast. The amount of tailgates, whew.
I cannot stress this enough. Like, you need to leave early. Like, when I was going to go to the game, I had plans to leave my house or leave my girlfriend's house at 9:30. And it's about an hour and 20-minute drive. So that gets me there a little after the lots open. Lots open 5 hours early or before the game. Like, if you wait, it's going to be chaos. Again, this will be the highest attended Union match in Union history. There is going to be so many people descending upon this stadium. There's going to be New York fans driving to the game who don't know how to navigate the state and navigate getting there. I know it's going to be cold and it's not fun to be there that early, but trust me, you do not want to get there late because if you get there late, you're going to get stuck in traffic, you're going to struggle to find a parking spot, and you're going to be late getting into the stadium. And we cannot have that. Again, we need to be loud and strong from the go. Like the Capos, they're going to be ready to go. I know how amped they are. And we just need the rest of you guys to carry us. Again, we don't got megaphones. So we need you guys to be our megaphones. We need you to take what we say and amplify it tenfold. And I know you can do it because we've done it all playoffs. We've been in this situation since the beginning of playoffs. Yeah, like it's out of our hands at this point. So all we can do is just give the team our best. And give them that much energy. Like they've said every single game afterwards that like they felt the push of the fans. Like we cannot quit on this team. Like there was a little bit of a dip when we went down against Nashville, but we started to come back and we got to go right back. So it's like we just need to keep that energy there and just keep pushing this team over the finish line.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Jarrett. Well, where can people find your social media, Jarrett?
You can find me on Twitter at Nizog, Nisdog. Instagram, same name with a 1-8 at the end. And I'm just gonna stop plugging my Facebook at this point. I barely even touched that thing. But yeah, interact with me. I love meeting new people. If you have ideas for chants, I'm open to that too. But yeah, I will be watching from afar on Sunday. And, you know, I can't wait to hear all of you on TV going nuts. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I'll be able to join you all on the 11th again.
Sounds like a plan. Well, if you guys aren't following the podcast on social media, follow it on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Free Kick Pod. Wherever you get your podcast, The Free Kick. Check out the website, maybe? TheFreeKickPodcast.com. I don't know if it's a website anymore. Maybe I should make that a website again. Maybe it still is. I don't know. But regardless, get your butts to the stadium early. Be loud before the start of the game, before you even get into the stadium. Let's make this place the most amazing environment that we have ever heard, we've ever seen, because we've never been this far. And we have the chance for more history. And everybody loves the idea of being a part of history, having stories to tell. Oh, I was there at Subaru Park on 12-5 when they beat New York City. I was at the stadium at 12-11 when they beat Real Salt Lake. So, yeah, let's show out. Let's make Subaru Park blue. Let's make it loud. And let's win this one for Jarrett. But with that said, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.